Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast, man. I think we took a little bit of a break, probably because I forgot to post an episode. But it's okay. We're, we'll remedy that now. Oh, this week again. I feel like a broken fucking record. Same shit, different day, different week, different whatever. All right, man. Let's start with there's let me just check if I can do this. Okay. I've been given permission. So we will absolutely do that. But let's talk about a couple of light things and then we'll move on. So recently I went to dinner at a restaurant and I'll say the name of the restaurant. It was Four, like Brothers Four, I don't know. Okay. And apparently this restaurant was the head chef was on Chopped and won or got close, or he was on Top Chef and won or got close. Apparently he's famous. Um I don't know why. I really don't. First of all, you pop in and the decor, I could have done that. I mean, it did not look like and this was okay, so this was supposed to be a fancy restaurant, like expensive, like a tasting menu restaurant, where it's like, okay, this is what's being cooked tonight, take it or leave it. Or like we're cooking like three appetizers, three this, three that, three this, you pick them. This is what we got. This is our best tonight. Um I expected more from just walking in. You walk in, it's like, okay, I could have fucking done this again. Like, give me a weekend and some spray paint, and I could have absolutely made this poor shit ambiance you're trying to get over. Now, I've been to, don't get me wrong, I've been to a ton of restaurants that, like, you walk and you're like, well, this just seems plain, and it's fantastic. This wasn't even plain, this was just like shitty decor and horrible lighting. It was bad. Okay. So already my expectations like let down a little bit. And then we get to the menu and it's like, okay. Everything on the menu looked good. Sounded good. So, I ordered what I ordered and the people I was with ordered what they ordered. And let me just tell you, the best thing I had that night was a martini that my waitress made. Not even the bartender made. That the waitress made. So we'll just talk about what I had. I had my first course was elk carpaccio with, I think, arugula and raspberries were the big hits, I guess. I mean, elk carpaccio, the elk wasn't bad, wasn't great. The raspberries were sour, like they weren't ready. I could have went to King Supers and bought better ones. They were tiny and no, awful. Presentation wasn't bad. Looked kind of like a Christmas wreath, to be honest. It had, the El Carpaccio in the middle, the arugula on the side, and then like four raspberries that were sour, bad. I know raspberries have a little tart to them sometimes, but these are like eating choke cherries. That was one, and that was the best thing I had at that restaurant. So, my second course, I ordered langoustines. And for the guys who don't know, they're like mini lobsters, giant shrimp. They're very fucking good. Okay, like if you, yeah, they're absolutely delicious when properly done. Even not raw, they're, oh my god, they're fantastic. What I was served was inedible. It was so unbelievably fishy. It was inedible. And don't I love like fishy taste sometimes. I mean, mackerel is one of my favorite at a sushi place like Naguri. I love it. Okay, I like the fishy, but there's a difference between, fishy because it's supposed to be and fishy because this shit's old or not good. And that's what I got. It was like the smell alone. It's like, it was awful. So I said to the waitress, "Hey, this is that's not no bueno." And she said, "What else can I get you?" And someone else had gotten the roasted bone marrow, and it's like, "Yeah, this wasn't bad. I'll try it. So I'll take that." So I got the bone marrow out, and which the roasted bone marrow, I have um opinions about how roasted bone marrow should be served. I think you should roast it, um, and get it all bubbly, hot, and warm, and delicious. Add maybe some butter to it. Like I want a heart attack cholesterol from this. Maybe some herbs. However, I do not need pickled anything on there to cut through the richness of the bone marrow. I just want the richness of the bone marrow. And it was loaded with like I don't know, pickled something that just ruined it. You're like decadent, buttery, delicious, and then oh wow, a shitty pickle. I don't think it was red onions. It was like it was purple. So I don't know, daikon, something just no. I don't want that horrible. I love vinegar. I drink vinegar, but it doesn't belong. I just want the decadence of the bone marrow. It'd be like having some really good butter, you know, and then just pouring a bunch of vinegar on it with like leafy herbs like parsley and stuff. No, you want like a strong, like a rosemary, a thyme, something that goes with beef. But no, that not what happened. Um, and then I had my entree was the lamb roulade. It was an overcooked piece of bad lamb with some green shit on it. I was very, very disappointed in this. So, the point of this story, though, is I've never respected anyone, a reality TV chef, who has to do like crazy shit, like Chopped. Okay, I mean, no scenario do you get all these crazy ingredients now to make something good. That's just for entertainment purposes only, and that's stupid. I want a Chopped where they're like, okay, here's the best ingredients we could possibly fucking find for you. Make us the best dish. That's a good chef to me. Giving them good ingredients, I'm like, hey, you got to put Captain Crunch. No, that's dumb. So already did I not respect these people. Now I have even little respect for them because if you if you made that on Chopped or whatever, and then you open a restaurant, you're supposed to be famous, and you have $100 tasting menu, um, and it's awful. Yeah, you probably do belong on Chopped, and those judges are idiots too. And it was a bad experience, and I was kind of disappointed. Um, but like I said, our waitress was great, so it was not her fault. She made a great martini, and even like little things, like I'm a Coke and Jim Beam guy. Okay, I wasn't gonna have your wine pairings. I don't like wine. Not doing that. But the Coke and Jim flat Coke, like flatter than shit. Basic things like that. So yeah, if you guys are ever in Colorado Springs and somebody says let's go to four, fucking pass. And like if things are mediocre when they're supposed to be fantastic, or like good when they're supposed to be fantastic, I might give them another try. I don't think I would give this place another try. Um, Now, apparently, one of their chefs died or something. I don't know. And at the risk of sounding callous, not my fucking problem. Okay, if you can't produce a fantastic product still that you've been boasted about, don't open. Okay, don't or don't charge your price. Don't do your model if you can't continue that. So yeah, atmosphere's awful. Drinks were not great. Um, Food was mediocre at absolute best. And like I said, the best thing that I had that night was I asked our waitress to make me a martini with a vermouth wash, and she knew exactly what I was talking about, and it was fantastic. Other than that, it was a very poor experience. So I hope that for you do better or you close, because what you're feeding people is not good. Hey, so speaking of fancy shit going down, I guess last night was the Met Gala, which a bunch of rich and famous people pay a fuckload of money, dress up like complete and utter morons. Like I've never been into it, so I mean I knew about it, but I've never seen the costumes. Like Halloween's still like a month and a half away, nerds. That's exactly what it is. They wear Halloween costumes. They all look absolutely fucking ridiculous. And they go to I think it's like 30 grand a plate to go to this thing, or it's like 300,000 for a table, okay? And it's all, a bunch of celebrities, ultra rich idiots, okay? Elitist. So three things. Again, the clothes they wear, you look ridiculous. That's not fashion. You just look stupid. And maybe I don't know fashion, which I probably don't. But you just look stupid. Um, Secondly, on the Twitter, based on the third story, which I'll tell you in a second, but the amount of people that are still like, Trump and Ivanka weren't invited, or, you know, you're still on Trump. Trump's not the president anymore, but he still lives rent free in your head. It's just, it's fucking amazing to me. Okay, so the big story was, all right. So imagine we're at this famous dinner, the Met Gala, and I've just spent 30 grand for me to go, and 30 grand for my date. Or no, I'm high roll. I bought a table, so I just spent $300,000 to go to a an early Halloween party, as far as I'm concerned, where people, and it's not even like Halloween costume, like scary or anything. Like, oh, I know you, you're Batman or some shit. It's just like you look fucking stupid. Like, what the fuck are you wearing? But our favorite mentally handicapped representative, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, decides that she's gonna. I'm just glancing over the picture. She's gonna wear a white dress with like frills at the bottom, and I mean, she automatically looks like an idiot. But on the back, in giant red letters, it says "Tax the Rich." I know. Just bear with me. So my table and everybody there has roughly spent 30 grand a person to be there. AOC, I assume, did the same thing. Which, let me explain this in simple fucking terms for you people. You are surrounded by the ultra wealthy. Okay? Like you're going to a party for the rich. And you wear a dress that says tax the rich. Now, I admire her for being smart enough to wear it on the back so she can't see them glaring daggers into her for such a stupid thing, but I don't even think this at this point is irony. Like this is the best definition of irony humanly fucking possible. But I don't think she ironically wore it or even got it. I just think she's retarded. Like she's a horse-faced idiot. And how she got in here with this crap with these idiots is it's just this is 100% today's left that everyone is still not everyone, but a lot of people are still on board with. I'd be like going to, you know, the children's hospital gala and the back of your dress says kill the children. I mean, that's it. Now, again, this is all these rich people, they pay lip service to higher tax and stuff like that. But if you think for 1 second they're on board with it, you're as stupid as they are, and as AOC is. It baffles me. And somehow woman got elected, which I mean I know how it's the left. You guys are idiots beyond idiots this time around. It's just I thought that was funny. And it wasn't like I said, it wasn't even ironic because it's so past that point that this is just. I'm not even sure it's funny. You just sit back and you're like, what the fuck is happening? I just, what the fuck? You know? And then you cry a little bit and, God. Okay, so we're gonna dip into politics quick and then we'll get out of here. So let's see. Um, Afghanistan still a clusterfuck. I guess Biden called the Afghani president and was like, "Hey, man, don't tell people how bad this is going or will be. Okay." Oh, wait, what? Didn't Trump? No, Trump called a foreign leader, maybe, kind of, and got impeached over it. And Biden did the same thing. And people like, don't worry. Moving on. Next thing. So yeah, there's still that, and people are still clinging to him. Oh, it's such a good job. And then in the brilliance of the Biden administration, which just ceases to amaze me each and every single day. Biden gets up there and announces his vaccine mandates. They're like, "Hey, man, if your company has 100 or more employees, you have to get vaccinated, or you have to mandate they get vaccinated, or you need weekly COVID testing." This after, of course, their whole administration got up there and was like, "No, I don't think we'll ever need vaccine mandates. I don't think that that's the government's role, blah, blah, blah." So they just straight up lied to you. And again, you're fine with it because you're a sheep and a little bitch. I mean, it's basically how you have lived your whole life your whole life. And then especially for the past, fuck, we're going close to almost 2 years. Um, so nobody's gonna, I mean, pay attention to these mandates. And if you do, again, you're a little bitch. But I have a question, and this is gonna play into another topic because everybody's up in arms about this shit too. So let me find it because I'm actually gonna have to read this. Um, which how the fuck do I? Okay, I gotta get to all my photos because those are okay. So with this mandate, let's let's talk about my body, my choice. Or does that not apply here? Of course, it doesn't apply here because it doesn't fit the agenda. But remember all the abortion people, or the pro-choice people, were like, "My body, my choice." What, what happened to that? My body, my choice. If I don't want to get vaccinated, I don't have to get vaccinated. Don't worry, nerd. You are. You cannot get COVID from me because you're vaccinated. Oh, wait. You can still get COVID? So what was the point? Oh, my symptoms will be less. Okay, then don't worry about it. Why are you so focused on me? Just focus on yourself. Get your vaccine, get your mask, and you'll be fine, apparently. And if I die, fine. So be it. But my body, my choice. Don't worry about it anymore. No, but you have to. Okay. Well, you could be a little bitch, and I'll make my decisions based upon what I feel is right for me. And you make your decisions based on what you feel is right for you. Okay? And if I want to go out into the world maskless and unvaccinated, that's fine. If you want to go out triple vaxxed and wrapped up in a bubble with a space helmet on, that's fine too. You do you, I do me. Great. End of story. I mean, I don't know what's so fucking hard about this. However, the government does not need to mandate it because, again, my body, my choice. Which that brings me to so Texas passed an abortion law that was like, hey, you can't abort. I think it was 6 weeks, and I'm not totally familiar with it because I frankly don't give a shit. A, it's Texas, and states can do whatever they want. Um, Secondly, it doesn't necessarily affect me because I'm not going to be in that situation. I mean, I know it sounds selfish, but I'm not going to get pregnant. No matter what the crazy left tells you, men cannot get pregnant. It can't happen. Um, there's women that have trouble getting pregnant. There's no fucking way a dude's getting pregnant. It's just not happening. Okay? And I'm not going to get someone pregnant and demand an abortion. Okay? So it doesn't apply to me at all. And I would hope that it doesn't apply to my circle or group. And at this point, if it doesn't apply to me or my immediate circle, I don't fucking care. There's just so much. I don't fucking care. Okay, but so what it is I guess after 6 weeks you cannot have an abortion. And if you do, you can be prosecuted for it, even if you like the people that help you, the nurse, the doctor, whatever. Okay, and then even in the case of rape and incest, which let's talk about that. So for all of our laws, we have, I don't know about all, but I think most, we have something along the lines of like extenuating circumstances. Okay? And then that creates an exception to the law. Like shooting someone in the face is murder and it's against the law. But in extenuating circumstances, like if that person's attacking you and you're in fear for your life, we give you a pass. Um, if you're being domestically abused and you protect yourself and take out the abuser, that's extenuating circumstances. And you kind of get a pass. Okay? Um, I'm pretty sure if, I'm having a heart attack and my buddy's driving me to the hospital and he's speeding, he's not going to get a speeding ticket, like extenuating circumstances. Okay? So, while Texas's heart might be in the right place or the wrong place, that doesn't matter. For the record, I'm pro life. But, I believe that we can all add an extent, because that's everybody's bitch. You don't get a bitch about my body, my choice anymore if you're going to force me to get jabbed or force people to get jabbed. That argument is fucking gone and you're done using it. Okay? Because your body, your choice, let's just play this out with no extenuating circumstances. Okay? If you make the choice to have unprotected sex and it ends up that you're pregnant, yeah, your body, your choice. You made that choice. Now lay in the bed you made. Okay? How I feel about like plan B or C, I don't know where I'm at with that right now. But you have a million options other than abortion at, up until the day of birth. So, I mean, it is about decisions. Now, if you go out and get wasted and have unprotected sex and you still get pregnant, that wasn't rape or incest. You made a bad choice. Your body, your choice. You made that choice. Now you have to live with the consequences. I'm tired of this argument. There was always a choice involved, okay? And you don't get to later go back and be like, oh, well, bad idea. Just let's kill a human for it. And that's what I mean. I believe that's what it is, and that's my opinion. Send the hate. I don't care. It is not going to change my mind about this. That's the basic realm. Now, if we want to go to extenuating circumstances in the cases of rape and incest, here we go. Incest is rape. So you can't just stop saying that. Okay? Now, if it's like two cousins who are both of age and like, yeah, let's do this and have a baby. No, that your argument's stupid. Okay? And I'm not listening to it anymore. Now, if it's a father forcing themselves upon their young daughter, that's rape. I don't care who it is, it's rape. Okay? So it's not in cases of rape and incest. It's just in cases of rape. That I'm open to extenuating circumstances. Okay? However, I am not open to you waiting 6 months to do that. If it was that horrible and that traumatic for you, morning after. Okay? Maybe a week. You don't get this 6 month bullshit. And if you can't raise your rapist child, abortion, maybe. Adoption, absolutely. But no, not this 1 day before birth shit. Okay? And I know that sounds super harsh. And I haven't always felt like that, but let me read something to you, and this might be a little boring, so if you want to tune out, fine, but I wish you wouldn't because this is important. This is something that some moron posted on Facebook, and a bunch of idiots agreed with it, and they missed the point, and that's the point of all this is that everyone's missing the fucking point. So here goes. Last night I was in a debate about these new abortion laws being passed in red states, just Texas, but that's okay, automatically inaccurate. My son stepped in with this comment, which was a showstopper. One of the best explanations I have read. Reasonable people can disagree about what a zygote becomes when a zygote becomes human life. That's a philosophical question. No. That's not a philosophical question. That's probably a scientific one. But either way, I digress. However, regardless of whether or not one believes a fetus is ethically equivalent to an adult, I mean, I don't know why it has to be an adult. It could be a child. Our child's life's worth is a 5-year-old less than an adult. So automatically your kid's a moron, dude. Or lady. I can't remember who that was. Okay. Um, Whether or not one believes a fetus is ethically equivalent to an adult, it doesn't obligate a mother to sacrifice her body autonomy for another, innocent or not. It actually does. That's kind of the whole fucking point of bearing children. I mean, I'm sorry, that's what it is. Body autonomy is a critical component of the right to privacy protected by the Constitution. No, that's inherently wrong. And they're going to cite some things which are stupid, but I'll read it anyways. As cited in Griswold versus Connecticut, 1965, McFall versus Shemp, 1978, and of course Roe versus Wade, 1973. I think little of these have to do with the right to privacy protected by the Constitution, but I haven't read up on them as detailed as I thought I should have. Because the rest of this is mentally retarded to begin with. Roe v. Wade. Okay. Consider a scenario where you are a perfect bone marrow match for a child with severe aplastic anemia. No other person on earth is close enough to a match to save this child's life, and the child will certainly die without the bone marrow transplant from you. If you decided that you did not want to donate your marrow to save the child's life for whatever reason, the state cannot demand the use of any part of your body for something to which you do not consent. It doesn't matter if the procedure required to complete the donation is trivial or if the rationale for refusing is flimsy or arbitrary, or if the procedure is the only hope for the child has to survive, or if the child is a genius or a saint or anything else. The decision to donate must be voluntary to be constitutional. Um, yeah, I have no qualms about that. That paragraph was right. We'll get to that in a minute, though. This right is even extended to a person's body after they die. If they do not voluntarily commit to donate their organs while alive, their organs cannot be harvested after death, regardless of how useless those organs are to the deceased or how many lives they would save. That's the law. Use, and this is where you lose me. This is where you lose me, dumbass kid. Let me Use of a woman's uterus to save a life is no different from use of her bone marrow to save a life. It actually is, you moronic dumb shit. Maybe your parents should have, It must be offered voluntarily, and it is when you engage in sex. That's your voluntary offer, you dumb fuck. Do you know? All right, so let me. I I am not a huge fan of most of the Christian teachings about sex. Okay, that it's only for the married and blah blah blah. And, mainly because it's fun, really fun. Okay, but there's a reason it's really fun. the The sole purpose of sex is procreation. Okay, and God or Allah or whoever came up with this made it so much fun that people would want to do it so the human race would continue. Okay? That's the sole reason for it. I'm sorry. Now, modern man has come up, modern man and woman have come up with ways that we can engage in that and not procreate. Okay? So we can still have the fun without the consequences most of the time. That's where I'm okay with to an extent. But that's your consent. Is when you engage in that, you're consenting. Okay, you know what can happen and you know what the sole purpose of this is for. There's your consent. Oh, but Dutch, the man doesn't have to take care of the big butt. Yeah, it's called child support, motherfucker. They do. Okay? They just don't have as much of a responsibility. And a lot of people think that the responsibility of carrying and nurturing and birthing life is probably the greatest responsibility in the world, which I tend to agree with. But that's your consent right there, is when you engage in the act of it. Okay. So his little bone marrow thing would be like the consent would be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this. And then later, once the kid's, recovering, you go in there and say, no, I don't want to do this. Take out the bone marrow. I didn't consent. My body, my choice. And they take the bone marrow out and the kid dies. That is the equivalent of abortion. Okay. Because you consent with the sexual activity. That is your consent right there. Okay, so it must be offered voluntary. By all means, professors believe that providing one's uterus to save a child is more morally just. Okay, you're not saving a child; you're creating a child. It's not like this kid's gonna die without a uterus. It starts there. Okay, so that's also where your logic is flawed. By all means, professor belief that providing one's uterus to save a child's life is morally right and refusing is morally wrong. This is de- this is a defensible philosophical position, regardless of who agrees and who disagrees. But legally, it must be a woman's choice to carry out the pregnancy. She may choose to carry the baby to term. She may choose not to. Either decision could be made for all the right reasons, all the wrong reasons, or anything in between, but it must be her choice. And protecting the right of body autonomy means law is on her side. Supporting the president that is what's being pro supporting that president is what precedent is what being pro choice means. All right, little Johnny. So after the all the multitude of arguments that I've made, you know, against your dumbass little theory here, and God, if you're this kid's parent, Brent Grabber, you're an idiot. Um, what about my choice? We both consented to sexual activity, and the result of it was a pregnancy. Do I get a say in this? Oh no, Dutch, because it's not your body. Fine. But no, not fine. No, that's this is a completely unique situation beyond all others. This is the creation of life. It's not saving a life or anything. It's the creation of it. And I think a lot of that is lost on people. And like for instance, this person who's a moron again, being forced to donate bone marrow is not the same as being forced to carry out a pregnancy that you willingly engaged in. Okay. Again, it would be like, here you go, little Johnny. Here's my bone marrow. And then when Johnny's getting better, you're like, no. And then you take the bone marrow back from him and Johnny dies. That's morally and ethically wrong. Just like abortion, without extenuating circumstances, is morally and ethically wrong. Now, if you want to introduce extenuating circumstances, like in the case of rape, we can discuss that. I'm totally open to that. But just because you had unprotected sex and got pregnant, you made your bed, now lie in it. Or you mess your bed up, now make it and lie in it. Whatever. Um, so yeah, just this is insane to me that you people aren't getting this. Which brings me on to, hmm, you think this pissed you off? Wait till you hear this. So, one of my really good friends, probably one of my best friends, if not my best friend, at work the other day, well, he texted me and says, "Hey, man, my day just went to shit because I had a sexual harassment complaint filed against me." What the fuck? What happened? He says, "All right." So I'm talking with a group of coworkers, I think a group, and there's a female coworker who is my age who is sharing the fact that she is getting married. And you guys are gonna know who this is in a second. But so this female coworker, let's call her crazy bitch. So crazy bitch is sharing the fact that she's somehow getting married. Yeah, dude, don't worry, I asked to a dude. So somebody was stupid enough to marry this girl or asked to. And my friend was like, "Hey, that's really nice. I'm getting married as well." Like, hey, just common conversation. Like somebody says, "Hey man, I like football." And I would say, "I like football too. What a coincidence." Or I like hot dogs. I do too. I like cake. I'm not a huge fan, but more power to you. So this like, crazy bitch is up there. She's like, "I'm getting married." And my buddy was like, I'm getting married too. Just again, normal fucking conversation. Well, I guess, I don't know, HR or his boss, somebody calls him in and says, "Hey man, there's been a sexual harassment complaint against you." And, our buddy is like, what do you mean? And they explained to him, "Well, crazy bitch shared that she was getting married, and you also shared that you were getting married, and she felt like that was sharing too much information, too much personal information. So, that's Sexual harassment. I know. I know. All of you are, and I know some of you are like, but Dutch, that may not be the. It's the whole story. Okay. I know this person very well. I don't think he would omit, like a huge thing like, oh yeah, I told her I was getting married too, and then smacked her ass and said, I love you. Okay, that didn't happen. I honestly believe that this crazy bitch, it's just how this happened. And now I'm going to piss more people off. First of all, sharing personal information is not sexual harassment. I don't fucking care what you say. By that definition, she could be like, I have two children. And I could have been like, oh yeah, I have two children too. Good story, Dutch. You make me uncomfortable. You're a sexual harasser. No, I'm not. You're an idiot. You're probably on the left. And this is 100% the left. Do not fucking get me wrong on this. Okay? A, it's not sexual harassment at all. You're just fucking insane. And the fact that anyone is even entertaining this idea is because here it comes. Super angry. The left's giving women too much power. That's it. You guys, women didn't get equal rights for whatever voting or who fucking knows, pay or any of that. So they got pissed off and they're like, okay, we're just gonna everything's sexual harassment now. And that's wrong. That's absolutely insane. Do not believe every woman. I'm sorry, don't. You need credible evidence that this shit happened to you. It also has to be reasonably sexual harassment. Okay? Me agreeing with you and be like, yeah, I have two kids too. That's not sexual harassment. Sharing a personal story, unless it's a sexually personal story, again, not sexual harassment. Get up and leave. Me physically groping you, sexual harassment. Okay? Physical stuff, sexual harassment. Words, no. Some words, maybe. From like, hey, sugar tits. Yeah, leave. Okay? And yeah, maybe say that makes you uncomfortable, and someone could say, hey, man, not anymore, okay? If I smack you on the ass and you don't like it, yeah, sexual harassment. Okay? Me sharing a personal anecdote of my life because you're doing, and yeah, let's not even miss the entire big picture of this. She literally did the exact same thing. She said, hey man, I'm getting married. Now, if Kyle was smart, oh shit, it's Kyle, whatever. Kyle was smart, he would have gone to the principal and been like, she shared too much information, that's sexual harassment. They would have laughed him out of the building. But if a woman does it, they're like, oh yeah, this is super serious. That's not fair. So if you want fair everything, you don't get to make crazy accusations. And if you do, and you're wrong, we're going to nail your ass to the fucking wall. That should be just as bad. Because you can ruin someone's life with false accusations. I'm not sure if anything's going to come of this, but you could bet you can bet that there's going to be some kind of black mark on Kyle's little record because of this. And no one's even going to ask him now. They're just going to be like, oh, he's a sexual harasser. But he's not. He's just a normal person who has normal conversations with normal, well, not normal people with crazy bitch, which that's his first problem. I mean, it's insane to me how anyone can think that this is normal behavior. Believe her? No, don't believe everyone. And if someone actually did happen, something, if you actually were sexually harassed, real sexual harassment, like we just talked about, yeah, find the dude who did it, nail his ass to the wall. But if you lie about it, we're going to nail your ass to the wall. And if you come to me with these petty complaints of, oh, Kyle shared too much information with me, nail her ass to the wall. Get her out of here. Out. Now, if Kyle had been groping her during this, yeah, he's at fault. Get him out. But I would get her out. I wonder how many complaints this crazy bitch has filed. I'm sure it's like 15. Every man who talks to her. So Kyle's going to do the smart thing. And actually, this is not the smart thing. There's no, see, this is the point. There's no way to win this because he can't file against her because they'll just laugh him out of the room. And his plan is he's going to just be extremely, like short and good morning, good afternoon, goodbye, hello. Like, that's it. That's the only interaction he'll have with coworkers. I think that'll backfire. And I think this crazy bitch would be like, well, Kyle was very curt with me today, and I felt an aggressive attitude, and yeah, I think it's going to backfire. But there's no winning. You can't share personal stories. You can't not talk to them. You can't talk. There's just no fucking winning. So here's my plan: men and women can't work together ever. That's it. And outside of work, men and women can never interact unless one thing happens. Couple conditions. The woman has to cross over to the man's side. A man can never go to a woman's side. But if that woman so chooses to go to the man's side, everything's fair game. I mean, obviously not like raping and stuff like that, but everything else fair game. All verbal is fair game. See how that works. It'll never happen. Because we have a bunch of sheep and little bitches that are like, oh yeah, Kyle, what's wrong? He shouldn't have shared personal information that makes people uncomfortable. And no, fuck her. And that is all part of this Me Too movement and all this crap. It's, it's out of control. You women are absolutely certifiably fucking insane. And if you're not, then you should be jumping all over this chick, being like, hey, lady, what the fuck are you doing? What about the ones that are really sexually harassed? Because as far as I'm concerned, by your little dumb definitions, what happened to the crazy bitch and what happens to somebody who, gets their jugs tugged on at work, it's the same. It's all sexual harassment. I mean, Kyle might as well have. He's going to get yelled at anyways. You might as well get a good feeling. I don't understand how one side can be so unbelievably insane and other people are just like, oh yeah, that that seems right to me. Speaking of that, we do. I may have found my liberal. He's a guy from Texas. I'm working out the details. Not super confident yet because it's like a six-way invitation from a crazy person, which we will get into. It's funny. But yeah, and I just want to ask him, like, so how do you feel about this? And we'll see what kind of liberal he really is. I mean, he lives in Texas, so I can't imagine he's that nuts. But maybe he might live in Austin. Is it Austin or Houston that's liberal wax? Doesn't matter. Does it really? Um, okay, let's wrap up with some fun but not super fun. Fun for me. I don't care what you guys think. College football. Okay, so this was like the second week of college football. I don't know if I talked to you guys the first week. I'm Pac 12, I'm SC, I'm the Buffs. The first week, the Buffs looked awful. They played a high school team. It is in the last podcast, which I'll probably be posting two of them tomorrow. But let's talk about this week, week two. Ohio State lost to Oregon. I fucking love it. Because you guys know how much I absolutely hate Ohio State with an undying passion. And I've wrestled with this for a long time. I'm not sure that I hate Ohio State school as much as I hate their fans. Um, it's like Michigan. I know it's the fans why I hate Michigan is because they're Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame. I might think of some others, but they're constantly, and I mean constantly, overrated. And I mean grossly overrated. Okay. And their fans just chirp, 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 chirp. And then, for example, they lost to Oregon, number 12. I think they were number three. Number three lost to 12 at, at Ohio State. Okay. And rather than graciously saying, hey, we should have never been number three, we got our butts kicked, it was just nothing but shit talk. Oh, Oregon, blah, well, we didn't, blah. I still love, blah, blah. Fine, you can still love them, but you should have never been number three. You guys suck. That is the problem. And I'm just so fuck. And oh, but Dutch, we win all the time. Yeah, because you you get ranked with other shitty overrated teams and you guys just play each other and then we have a horrible national championship because Alabama or Clemson comes in and stomps you nerds because you never belonged there. Well, Dutch, who do you want? I'll tell you what, Pac-12. And the reason the Pac-12 isn't in there is because they're the only conference that cannibalizes themselves. Everyone in the Pac-12, 10 out of the 12, 11 are top 10, top 15 caliber teams. UCLA went into LSU and beat them. Oh, but SC and Stanford. Yeah, let's talk about SC and Stanford. Clay Helton's gone because he's a fucking moron and he's the reason we lost that game. Moving on. What else you got? These are all contending teams. The Buffs, the Colorado Buffaloes, who week one, again, they played a high school team and, I mean, they won, but not by what I thought they should have. Okay. Hung with number five, A&M, for 58 minutes. Beat them for 58 minutes. And then the NCAA steps in and says, we can't have this. We're going to throw some horrible calls out there. And the Buffs just kind of let it slip away. Okay. And they didn't get rocked. They lost by, I think, four, maybe three. I think it was 10-7. No, it was 7-3. And then, yeah, I think they lost by four to the number five team in the nation. You cannot be the number five team in the nation and hang with an unranked team for that long. It just, no, you're not the number five team in the nation. You're, if let's say the Buffs were 50th in the nation, guess what? You're 49th. Oh yeah, but they don't know. The people who pick these numbers are retarded. Clemson, they lost week one to Georgia, and Georgia moved up, but Clemson dropped just a little bit. No, Ohio State got all they wanted from Minnesota and then had a couple of lucky calls or breaks, and then that's how they got their points. If you watch the whole game, they were right there with them. So if Minnesota was ranked 50th, Ohio State, you're 48th now, nerd. You do not get to be three anymore. And Oregon goes into Ohio State and beats Ohio State. They should be number three this week. And Ohio State should be bumped way the fuck back. But it won't happen because the fans are morons. That's what I think it is. But hey, like I said, good news. Clay Helton's fucking gone. Oh, Adam Schefter, I have a challenge for you. It will not be Eric Bieniemy, you moron. Stick to the NFL like you barely do, but people are still at your teeth. I'm excited for the season. I'm super disappointed in the Stanford loss. But I mean, a one-loss Pac-12 champion, I still think belongs in the playoff. Because a Big Ten champ, there's no one in the Big Ten that's any good. They're all hacks. And if you want to say that, okay, Ohio State is the elite of the Big Ten, fine. Who else? Nobody. They play the little sisters of the poor in the Big Ten. The SEC's got some good teams. The ACC, where Clemson is, no. They don't have any competition. Pac 12, absolutely. All those teams cannibalize each other because they just, you got 50 great teams and they all have to play each other. And they end up having a couple losses because they all had to play elite teams all season long. Not some cakewalk schedule like the rest of these schools. It'll be fun, though. It will be fun. I'll be disappointed in the end because we'll get hosed for, some trashy Notre Dame or Ohio State crap. And the penalties, man, we got to get rid of some of these penalties. It's not about player safety anymore. It's just about being stupid. Um, SC's kicker got a targeting foul on the opening kickoff and was ejected. If you get targeted by the kicker, you're a pussy and you should be ejected too. And it changes the dynamic of games. And I know it was the first play and it was the kicker, and I'm not going to blame that one. But other ones that are not targeting, you know, no, man, I don't even think there should be targeting at all. But that's, defenseless receiver. You're not defenseless. You're on the football field, bitch. I mean, what do you want? You want a halo rule like for punts? That I'm fine with because you're looking up. Receivers, looking for the ball. Know your surroundings. You want a halo rule for receivers? Can't get within a couple yards of them so they catch the ball and then they can start running and then you can try and tackle them. Just stupid. It's not about player safety anymore. It really isn't. It's become so watered down. Even the NFL, which I couldn't even watch. I thought like, I'll try. Nope, can't do it. They're all just horrible. And speaking of that, we'll end kind of with this. So 9/11, the 20th anniversary was Saturday, right? And people did a bunch of stuff for it. Part of me's tired of hearing about this, and I'll tell you why. Because for 364 days of the year, nobody gives a shit. The NFL kneels. They disgrace the flag. They talk shit about America. They're just all around scumbags. But then for that weekend, they pretend like they love this country. I'm not okay with that. Uh, the Democrats do the exact same thing. You don't want the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance. You don't want any of that anywhere. You're offended by it. Christ, half these liberals are like, oh, the flag scares me. It's white supremacy. But, 9/11, we all get back together. No, you don't get to do that. You also don't get to have a president who just forfeits a war because of this. And now we can discuss the the merits and all that. But that's essentially what happened. He forfeited that war. Now, if that was because of 9/11 that we were in Afghanistan, different discussion from different times. But you don't get to do that. You can't, disgrace our country for 364 days of the year and then all of a sudden be like, oh, yeah, we're Americans and we'll never forget. You forget every day of the year, you little bitch. Just like, Pearl Harbor, which I know Pearl Harbor was different because that was an attack on a military base and these were civilians. But how many of you, I mean, even know the date of Pearl Harbor? Don't Google it, assholes. How many of you still, fly your flags and remember? How many NFL ceremonies are on Pearl Harbor Day? None. They don't give a shit. It all just seems, I mean, it's virtue signaling, but you can't turn your back on this country for the whole year and then one day come back and be like, oh, we're all Americans. I'm an American. You're not, motherfucker. And actually, you are. And that's what's great about this country is you can do that. I just have an issue with it. And that's the other great thing is I can have an issue with it. You can act like a dipshit and I can yell at you for it, but you still I will defend your right to the death for you to do that. Other than that, I think I'm done. I don't know. What else we got? Nothing? Nothing. All right. Hey, thanks for listening. Like always, I appreciate it. Do your part. I do mine. Like, subscribe, do that kind of fun stuff. Follow on the socials. Um, I don't know. Do what you can to help out. I'll keep doing this. Like I said, I have surgery. The schedule is going to be messed up for like probably another week. I gotta get a whole bunch of ducks in a row before surgery, and then once I had the surgery, we'll be like I said, we might be turning on podcast twice a day. I'll be so bored. But that happens in a couple days, so we might get two more gaming sessions in, and then a podcast next week, which will be after surgery, so you don't have to worry about that. And we should be back on track. It just I got like I said, I got some ducks I gotta get in a row before I'm like bedridden for a while. Um well, bedridden or computer ridden. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But like I said, as always, I appreciate you guys listening. Follow the social stuff, like, subscribe, do your best to help me help you. You do that, I'll keep doing fun stuff like this. And until next time, as always, bye.